Okay, we're looking at currency conversion. Now, there's two formulae you need to remember when you are converting currencies. There are two rules. If you are converting euro into foreign currency, now foreign currency could be pound sterling, it could be American dollars, it could be Japanese yen, it could be Russian ruble, it could be any of those currencies, right? But they're considered the foreign currencies. Euro to foreign currency, the rule is you will multiply, okay, by whatever the exchange rate is. Whereas if you have pound sterling or dollars, okay, or Japanese yen, and you want to convert it back into euro, the rule is if you're going from foreign currency to euro, you divide by the exchange rate. So they're the two rules for foreign currency. Euro into foreign currency, you multiply, whereas foreign currency back into euro, you divide. Okay, so if we just look at all of the currencies on the left, now that's just a small selection of the currencies in the world. It's not all of them. And we just look at what country do they belong to. So the first one, well, that's the US dollar. Okay, see if you could get any of the others. So you can pause the video, see if you could get any of the rest of them to see, well, what country or countries do they belong to. Okay, the next one, the yen. Well, that's the Japanese yen, so it's Japan. The euro belongs to the 20 Eurozone countries within the EU. Not all the EU countries use the euro. So like, for example, Poland, it's part of the EU, but it doesn't use the euro. All right, so there are only 20 Eurozone countries that do use the euro currently. That could go up or go down if countries in the EU decide to take in the euro. Or maybe they could decide to get out of the euro and go back to their original currencies. It could do that too. The next one, the baht. Okay, that's the Thai baht. So it comes from Thailand, the Thai baht. The next one is the rand, which is the South African rand. The next one, well, NZ for New Zealand, dollar. So NZ gave that away, so New Zealand dollar. The pound sterling is in the UK. So that's Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. They all use the sterling. The dong, so that's the Vietnamese dong, so Vietnam. The rupee is the Indian rupee, so India. The ruble is Russia. And zloty is Poland. That's just a small selection of the currencies which will come up in questions. Not all of them, but some of them will come up in questions. So it would be handy to know what country they belong to. Okay, example 1. So we've got our exchange rates here in the table. So this exchange rate is euros into dollars, so that'd be American dollars. And this exchange rate is euros into pound sterling. All right, so that's the UK. So example 1 says, Mary went to the USA on her holiday, so she went to America. She returned home with $58 left, so she has foreign currency in her pocket. How much did she have in euro? So we need to convert foreign currency into euro, so dollars into euro. The rule is you will divide by the exchange rate. Okay, so dollars into euro, we're dividing. So you find the euro to dollar exchange rate, which was $1.16. So it's going to be $58 divided by 1.16 and you'll get back 50 euro. So $58 is equivalent to 50 euro based on that exchange rate. And remember, exchange rates change on any given day. So you could easily look up what the current exchange rate is for euros to dollars today, and you'll get a different figure than what's in the table. Question 2. Mary then went to the UK and she used the remainder of her change from the USA, which means she used her 50 euro that she had coming back from America. And she went off to the UK. How much did she save in pound sterling? How much did she have in pound sterling? Okay, so I now want to convert the 50 euro into pound sterling. So if you're going from euro into foreign currency, the rule is you multiply. Okay, so we're going to multiply the 50 euro that she has now in her pocket that she brought home from America, multiply it by the euro to pound sterling exchange rate, which was 0.87, and that will give us back £43.50 sterling. So that's how much it is in pound sterling. So that's example 1. Example 2. Convert 1,281,600 Japanese yen into Polish zloty. That's the symbol for Japanese yen. It's like a Y symbol with two lines going through the middle of it. Okay, and that's our symbol for Polish zloty. So it's a Z kind of like a slanted T. Okay. These are the exchange rates. You've got euro to pound sterling, you've got euro to zloty, and you've got euro to yen. Now, I will not be using the euro to sterling, not here anyway, because all they said was convert yen to zloty. Right. You do not have a yen to zloty exchange rate. You have a euro to zloty exchange rate, and you have a euro to yen exchange rate. I don't have a yen to zloty exchange rate. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to convert the Japanese yen figure, convert that into euros first, and then when you have it in euros, you can convert the euro amount into zloty. Okay, so it'll be 2 calculations. So if I convert the yen amount into euro, foreign currency into euro, we're going to be dividing. And then when I have that answer, it'll be in euros. So then I'll want to convert euro into zloty. So euro into foreign currency, I'll be multiplying by the euro to zloty exchange rate. Okay, so the first thing I'm putting it into brackets. I'm converting the 1,281,600 Japanese yen. I'm converting that into euros by dividing by the euro to yen exchange rate, 142.4. Okay, I'll just keep that in a bracket. You could throw that into the calculator, you'll get some decimal. And then I'm going to multiply that answer, because that answer now will give me a euro equivalent. Then I will multiply that by the euro to zloty exchange rate, which was 4.69. Okay. So this first bracket works out to be 9,000 euro. And then I'll multiply that by 4.69 zloty. And my answer then will be 42,210 Polish zloty. Which means 1,281,600 Japanese yen is equivalent to 42,210 zloty. So always, girls, if they don't give you the exchange rate you want, you can go around it a different way. So convert it back into a different currency that you do have the exchange rate for, and then work forward to convert that into the exchange or into the currency you do want. Now, when we go into banks or credit unions or building societies or any of those financial institutions where you can get foreign currency, they all need to make money off of that transaction. So what those financial institutions like banks, what they do is they charge you a commission. So like if I just go back here, right? If I had gone into the bank and I wanted to convert the yen into zloty, right? And once I do the conversion using those exchange rates on that given day and it worked out to be 42,210 zloty, I actually won't get to keep that full amount of Polish zloty when I go into the bank. The bank will charge me a commission on it. So I'll actually end up getting less than that as a result. They have to make profits too. All right, so that was like a very simplistic example where there was no commission in the question. But in real life, banks charge commission. Okay, so banks charge commission on every currency transaction that they do. This will reduce the amount that you get to actually take home when you've done the conversion. So for example, if you were to convert £500 sterling into, 500 euro into pounds sterling, it would equate to, we'll say, £465. But you won't actually get to keep that full £465. The bank will take a percentage of it off it. And that's otherwise known as a commission. So whatever their commission rate is on the day, it could be a 2% commission. So they would then remove 2% off of that figure, which means you'd get to keep the other 98%. And that's what you'd actually get to take home. Okay, so just remember, the bank is going to take the commission, so you end up bringing home less as a result. So the example here, a bank charges 3% commission on all transactions. How much would a tourist take home if they convert £758.40 sterling, if they want to convert that into euro, and the exchange rate is €1 is equivalent to 79 pence sterling. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert pound sterling into euro. So that's foreign currency into euro, which means I will be dividing by the exchange rate. Okay, so £758.40 divided by the exchange rate, which was 0.79, that will give me €960. So that's what it is equivalent to in euro. But I don't get to keep that full amount because the bank is charging 3% commission. So if they charge 3% commission, well, then that means I'll only actually get to keep 97% of that figure. The bank will get the other 3%. So the quick calculation then would be multiply the €960 by 97%, and that will tell me what I actually get to keep. If you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. You could get 3% of €960 That will be then the commission amount. So 3% of €960 is €28.80. Okay, so that's getting 3% of the conversion amount. So €28.80 will be the commission amount. And then all you have to do with that is subtract it from the €960. And that will give me back €931.20. That is the actual amount of money I'll get to take home from the bank after the bank have charged the commission. Okay? All right, so that's the other way of doing it. Get the commission amount first and then subtract the commission away from the converted amount to see what you actually get to take home. So that tourist will actually get to take home €931.20 after the bank charged their commission. Okay, so I now have 7 questions for you to work on. All right, so you can pause the videos as you're doing these questions. So these are the first 3 questions, so question 5, 6, and 8. All right, so you can pause the video to do those. Then the next set of questions are questions 9 and 10. And then there is 2 more. Questions 12 and 13. All right, so just you can go back in the video to start doing those questions. Just pause it as you're doing them. And then when you have all of the 7 questions done, come back, play on the video and self-correct from the video. Okay, question 5. The exchange rate is €1 will buy you 1.4 Canadian dollars. How many Canadian dollars would you get for €3,500? So I want to convert euro into foreign currency. So the rule is you multiply by the exchange rate. So euro to foreign currency, that's Canadian dollars, I am multiplying. And if I had Canadian dollars and I want to convert it back into euro, then I would be dividing. So it's going to be €3,500 multiplied by the exchange rate and I will get 4,900 Canadian dollars. Part 2, how many euro would you get for $5,600? So now it's dollars back into euro, which means we are dividing by the exchange rate. And that will give me €4,000. So that was question 5. Question 6. A Swiss visitor exchanged 4,200 Swiss francs for euro at an exchange bureau. The rate of the exchange was €1 would buy you 1.4 Swiss francs. Find in euros what the visitor received if the bureau charged a 1% commission. Okay, we'll do the conversion first and then we'll work with the commission part next. I want to convert 4,200 Swiss francs back into euros. So it's foreign currency back into euro, which means we are dividing. So divide by the exchange rate. That will then give me €3,000. I don't get to keep the full €3,000 because the bank is charging a 1% commission. Sorry, it's a bureau de change. You see them in the airports. They are charging 1% commission. So you could get 1% of 3,000. Okay, that'll give you €30. And then you can subtract the commission, the €30 from that to see how much you actually get to take home. The quicker method would be if the bureau de change is charging a 1% commission, that means they keep 1%, but you'll get to keep the other 99%. So you could just multiply the €3,000 by 99% and that will give you your answer straight away. So you get to take home €2,970. This was the other method. Get 1% of 3,000, which is €30. That's the commission amount. And then subtract the commission amount away from the 3,000 and you get €2,970. So you get the same answer regardless. Question 8. A bank displays the following sign above the foreign currency desk. Okay, so we're dealing with Japanese yen. They will buy foreign currency from you for 130 yen. They will sell you foreign currency for 127 yen. So they'll buy foreign currency or they will sell you foreign currency. Tom changed €800 for his trip to Japan. How many yen did he receive? So we are converting euros into yen. Okay, so we are multiplying. Now, which figure do we use? So he wants to buy foreign currency. That means the bank is going to sell him foreign currency. They will sell him foreign currency at the 127 yen rate. So I am now going to multiply €800 by 127 yen. And that will give me back 101,600 Japanese yen. There's your symbol for the yen. It's like a Y with 2 lines going through the middle. Next part. He changed 2,080 yen back into euro when he returned home. So I now want to convert yen into euro, which means I'm going to be dividing. Now, which rate do I use? Remember, he's gone back into an Irish bank once he gets home, and he has now got foreign currency. The bank will buy foreign currency from you for 130 yen. So we're going to use the buy rate, and we're going to be dividing. So 2,080 Japanese yen divided by 130 will give you 16 euro exactly. So it says, how many euros did he receive? He received back 16 euro. So that was question 8. Question 9. When the exchange rate was €1 will buy you 9.8 South African Rand, a woman exchanged 12,000 South African Rand for euro at the bank. The bank charged her a fee for this transaction. If the woman received €1,166.60, find in euro the fee that the bank had charged. Okay, well, first off, we'll do the conversion. I want to convert 12,000 Rand into euros. So that's foreign currency into euro, which means I'm dividing. So I divide 12,000 by the exchange rate, 9.8. That will give me a euro amount. I am not rounding that up yet. Okay? So 1,224 euro, 0.4897, and it goes on forever. That's what it converted to. But she didn't get to take home the full amount. What she got to take home was €1,166.60. So to figure out what the bank charged her, it'll be the difference between the converted amount and the amount she actually got to take home. So I'll subtract the amount she took home from the converted amount, and that'll leave me with €57.889, and that went on forever. I will now round that figure. So this will be the fee that the bank must have charged. It's money, so you always round it to 2 decimal places unless you're told differently. So that means the bank must have charged €57.89 as a fee for converting the Rand into euro. Question 10. On a trip to Sweden, a tourist exchanged €4,500 for Swedish krona when the exchange rate was €1 would buy you 8.75 krona. He spent 25,400 krona, and then on his return, he exchanged what he had left back into euro when the exchange rate had changed to €1 would buy you 8.6 krona. So you can see the exchange rate went down. How much did he receive in euro? Okay. First off, we start with the 4,500 Swedish krona. I want to convert that back into euro using this exchange rate. I want to convert it into Swiss francs, or Swedish krona even. Sorry, I'm mixing up my currencies. Okay, so euro into foreign currency means we are multiplying by the exchange rate. €4,500 multiplied by 8.75 krona means that works out to be 39,375 Swedish krona. Okay. He then spent 25,400 krona of that figure. So I'm going to subtract 25,400 from that, which means this is what he has now left when he gets back into Ireland. He's got 13,975 krona. So when he gets back to Ireland, he exchanged what he had left. So he's going to change that back into euro. But now the exchange rate has changed because it changes every single day. This is now the exchange rate. So if I want to convert krona into euro, that's foreign currency back into euro, I have to divide by that exchange rate. So I'll divide it by 8.6 and I will get back 1,625 euro. So that's how much he ended up receiving in euro. And there's no commission in the question. Question 12. A dealer bought Swiss francs when the exchange rate was €1 will buy you 1.45 francs. If he received 43,400 francs, how much euro did he exchange? Okay, so I want to convert francs into euro, so that's foreign currency into euro, so I am dividing by the exchange rate. And I am rounding it. Give your answer to the nearest euro. Okay, so that's what it said. Give your answer to the nearest euro. So I get back 29,931 euro. Okay. He then sold the Swiss franc when the exchange rate was €1 would buy you 1.28 francs. So you can see the exchange rates have dropped. Find correct to the nearest euro how much the dealer lost or gained in the transaction. Okay. So I am now going to work with my conversion. Okay, I'm going to use the different conversion rate to see whether it was a gain or a loss that he made. So the 43,400, this time I will divide it by the exchange rate, 128, to convert it into euros, and I'll round that to the nearest euro, and I get 33,906. So the question did say, did he gain or lose in the transaction? Well, he obviously gained. all right, considerably. If he made the exchange when that was the exchange rate, this is how much he would have taken home. If he waited until the exchange rate had dropped to 1.28 francs to a euro, he ended up bringing home this much in euros. That is significantly higher than what he would have gotten at the other exchange rate. So he made a gain, but how much? Because that's what it asked. Find how much the dealer gained in the transaction. So it's the difference between those two figures. Because he waited until the exchange rate had changed to €1 will buy you 1.28 francs, he made a gain of €3,975 as a result. Question 13. On a trip from the US to Mexico, Michelle and Martha stopped at a town in the US where Michelle bought a sweater for $61.56. In Mexico, Martha bought the same sweater for 828.75 pesos. Given the exchange rates in the two countries, in which country was the sweater cheaper and by how much? Okay, so first off here, they've given me euro to dollar exchange rate and euro to peso exchange rate. They have not given me dollar to peso exchange rate. That means I'm going to have to convert the dollars into euros, and then I'm going to have to convert the pesos into euros. Because if you're trying to compare two currencies with each other, well, then you have to compare them in the same unit of measurement. They have to be all turned into euros so that you can make the proper comparison to know whether it was cheaper or more expensive in Mexico or in the US. Okay, so you compare prices when they're in the same currency. So I'm converting both of them into euros. So they're both foreign currencies. Foreign currency into euro means I am dividing by the exchange rate. $61.56 divided by the euro to dollar exchange rate, which was $1.15. That will give me €53.53. That's how much the jumper cost in America. Then we go to Mexico. It was 828.75 pesos divided by the euro to peso exchange rate, 22.6. That works out to be €36.67. So if she bought it in America, it was costing her €53.53 in euros. If she buys it in Mexico, it'd cost her €36.67 in euros. Therefore, it's cheaper to buy it in Mexico. And how much was it cheaper by? Because they did say by how much was it cheaper. So we need to subtract the two, and we'll get €16.86. That's how much he saved by buying it in Mexico. So Martha got the better deal. Or sorry, was it Michelle maybe? No, Martha. Martha bought it in Mexico. She got the better deal. She saved €16.86. Okay, so that's all of our currency conversions and commission questions.